Should you scout for Mix Blue? Is he any good? Well, this is a controversial one. And for the uninformed guys, this is a Mix Scout. This is a paid-only banner. So for all free-to-play players out there who wish to get Mix Blue, well, eliminate that thought from your brain because you cannot get Mix Blue unless you spend money on this game. Unless you want to, start spending money on this game, which I do not recommend as a waylord out there. I do not recommend you doing that. But, for all the finizens, for all the palafins, whalmers, and waylords out there, who want to wish or scout for this thing pair, well, we have a lot to talk about. Let's first look at his kit. So this shares a lot of similarities with the current Mix Scout. And by the way, guys, there are some positive sides to scouting on mixed banners. And that is, you can get any random sync pair that is not a master fair. So costume units, seasonal units, poke fairs, spotlights, variety scouts, all are included in the Mix Scout. They probably will update the Mix Scout to include all the sync pairs that came out fairly recently. But until then, I would not say anything. I would not say any final details for that one. But they're probably gonna update the Mix Scout to contain the recently, coming. Probably Volo will be there. Probably Jack will be there. But still, this guy shares a lot of similarities with Mix Red. So we're gonna do a little comparison there. He's a field unit, which means after you use your sync move, if you have him 6-star EX, you will bring in not Fire Zone, Sunny Day. And for those who don't want to believe me, you have to, because New Year of Wallace is also a fire type field unit and he brings in Sunny Day. So Sunny Day, no Fire Zone, don't expect anything like that. He has an EX roll of Strike, which means if you 6-star EX him and EX roll him, you will hit every single opponent. And his stats, well, 709 attack or HP stat, pretty high offenses, and pretty high speed stat. You have passive skills that will guarantee that every single attack will never miss and will always become critical hits. You have a second passive skill to max or to raise your special attack and speed stat up +4 at the start of the battle. And then you have recoil removal 9, which affects Flare Blitz because Flare Blitz is a recoil move, and then it says that you will not receive any recoil damage from using Flare Blitz. You have Heat Wave, you have Neo Blast Burn as your buddy move. And what this does is that it activates when the weather is sunny. And how do you make the weather sunny? After you use your sync move, if you have him 6-star EX, or by using Max Flare, his max move. Max Flare can take the form of a physical attack by using the first and the third Max Flare, Neo Blast Burn, and Heat Wave, or a physical attack, which is Flare Blitz turned into Max Flare. But take note that you cannot raise your attack stat without using your trainer move. So you have to use your trainer move, Can't Fool Me, to raise your attack stat +4, or rather, +4, yes, and give yourself a super effective up next effect. So for me, I'd rather use Heat Wave and Neo Blast Burn, just completely ignore Flare Blitz. I'd rather use the attack +4 on some other sync pair and that super effective up next effect somewhere else. Because if you want to use Can't Fool Me, and then you use Flare Blitz, yes, that will be power, or rather, and use Max Flare, yes, that will have the super effective up next effect. But maybe you want to use the super effective up next effect on your sync move or somewhere else. So that's something that you want to think about. And in terms of sync move, no additional multipliers, no whatsoever. That is champion, or rather classic blue. Now, I said that he's very similar to Mix Red, so I wanna spend a couple of time talking about their similarities and their differences. By the way, Neo Blast Burn also lowers the opponent's defense and special defense -1 stat rank. So Yeah, you just lower the opponent's defenses and then make your Neo Blast Burn, Heat Wave, of Flare Blitz a little bit more powerful. Now, in terms of Red and Venusaur, which is our current Mix Scout, what this does is that it also critical hit rate guaranteed for everything. Your attacks will never miss, guaranteed. But the moment you hit the opponent, their attack stat and their special attack stat goes down -1. And at the start of the battle, your attack and special attack stats go up +4 immediately. So you can choose either Razor Leaf, which is a physical attack, or Giga Frenzy Plant, which is a special attack. And you can use your max move any way you want, either a physical max move or a special max move. The damage will be fairly the same because your attack stats and your special attack stats are similar, not only in terms of ferocious entry for your passive skill, but also your stats, 354 attack stat, 354 special attack stat. So pretty much the same. You're not limited to needing to use your trainer move in order to raise your offensive stat in order to do that. Your trainer moves, you have mini potion also, you can heal everyone's HP, you have toughen up to win, so you can give an ally defense and special defense up +2 as well as gradual healing. And in terms of your buddy move, you get to lower every single opponent's special defense stat -2. So, for Mix Red, you're lowering the opponent's attack, special attack, and special defense stats. And for Mix Blue, you're only lowering the opponent's special defense and defensive stats. So this is Mix Blue is an offensive enabler. You get to raise an ally's attack stat. You get to raise your own special defense and special attack and speed stat. You get to give an ally, whether himself or another ally, a super effective up next effect. Meanwhile, you have Mix Red, which is a defensive enabler. You're weakening the opponent's attack and special attack stats. Yes, you're lowering the opponent's special defense, making yourself and your allies stronger. You can recover some HP, you can raise an ally's defense and special defense stats. So overall, if I were to compare Red and Blue in terms of the Mix Scout, honestly, I would suggest that you go for Mix Red more. With the last few days of his banner, I'm not sure if Mix Red will be included in the new Mix Scout. And in terms of grass types versus fire type sync pairs, there are a lot more stronger fire type sync pairs who can dish out AoE damage rather than grass type sync pairs which can dish out AoE damage. There are not a lot of grass types that can hit every single opponent. Yes, there's Petal Dance, I think that is Trainer Lodge Lily. And then there's Razor Leaf. And then there's not a lot of AoE, grass type attacks that are strong. There are a lot of grass type attacks that hit one opponent only, but not a lot that hit every single opponent. Meanwhile, in terms of fire type attacks, Heat Wave is always strong. New Year Wallace can only hit one opponent. No, his buddy move can hit all opponents. And then there's Victini, which can hit all opponents as well. And then there's there's so many fire type sync pairs that can hit every single opponent. So in terms of fire type classic blue versus grass type Mix Red, I'd suggest you go for Mix Red just in case you don't have Mix Red yet and you want to, just consider doing that. But one good thing about Mix Scouts is that the scout points you have for Mix Red actually carry over to Mix Blue. So for example, you got completely shafted with Mix Red. You got him in like 299 scout points because 300 is the maximum scout points for Mix Scouts. Now, if you got him 299 scout points, well, good thing. The next scout point, the next summon you go for Mix Blue, you'll already get him. One more thing about the scout points is that whatchamacallit, I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, guys, let's move on. And maybe when I remember, I'll just go back to that thing. So, that's in terms of one copy. And now, let's talk about the sync grid. And maybe it will get better. So, 1 out of 5, we got Heat Wave, Move Gauge, Refresh 3, which just recovers your move gauge. 2 out of 5, you got an MP refresh for Can Fool Me. This is a good one because it can raise an ally's attack stat +4 and then give you a super effective up next effect, which is very nice. Flare Blitz move gauge refresh 3, Mad Strength 4. You can get this so that you don't have to use Can Fool Me on Mix Blue himself. Neo Blast Burn move gauge refresh 3, 1 with the sun, speeding sun, sunscreen. When the weather is sunny, they do something nice. With the hit 4, can raise your special attack stat. Plus, if you attack the opponent, 50% chance. No multiplier so far. How about 3 out of 5? The more your special attack stat is raised, the stronger your sync move is gonna be. That is one nice multiplier. Charging Sun, if the weather is sunny, not only will it power up your attacks, Sunny Day will power up your fire type attacks already, but it will further power up your attacks because of Charging Sun 3. Max Countdown, Max Double Down 9, Max Team Smarts 9 gives you a special moves up next effect for all your allied sync pairs. That is a 40% increase in damage for all your allied sync pairs when you use your max move. Mind Games 9, there you go, a special defense debuffer. But then, you can already lower the opponent's special defense by using Neo Blast Burn. This just makes the task easier. And then sync move, physical boost up to, and special boost up to 9. After you use your sync move, you get to raise your physical moves up next effect by 2. That's an 80% stronger damage for Flare Blitz, as well as special boost up to 9, which powers up your Neo Blast Burn and Heat Wave by 80%, which is nice. And then you have another sync move multiplier, Solar Flare 5. If the weather is sunny, your sync move rather, is gonna get 50% stronger. So you have two sync move multipliers, Brain Power and Solar Flare 5, which is kind of similar to Mix Red if I'm not mistaken. So your sync move is gonna be powered up also by Sunny Day, which is also similar to Mix Red, which powers up by Grassy Terrain. And that's that. So that is Classic Blue. Yes, he gets a little bit better. 2 out of 5 probably is good for that MP refresh for super effective up next effect. But honestly, guys, there are a lot of sync pairs that can give super effective up next now. But, if you want to pair him up with other sync pairs, then so be it. That's also a very nice way to use him. Brain Power and Solar Flare 5 will make him stronger at 3 copies. But then, this is a Mix Scout. Now, I remember what I was gonna say. Mix Scout, you can only scout a maximum of 9 times per day. 9 sync pairs per day. Sync pair scout times 1, sync pair scout times 3, and sync pair scout times 5. So Whalers, you cannot rush to get Mix Blue unless you have your scout points really, really close to 300. Then that means you can probably get Mix Blue as soon as possible. But if you do not get Mix Blue and you get shafted, you'd have to wait all the way because you can scout only for a maximum of 9 times per day. So that's one downside of scouting for the Mix Scout. But other side, a good side is that, again, you can get any sync pair that you don't have that is not a master pair in this scout. And if you reach all the way scout points, you can choose any other sync pair aside from Mix Blue. You can choose a Poke Fair, a Variety Scout, a Costume Unit, a whatever that you do not have. So that's a good thing about Mix Scout banners. But then, again, most importantly, this is a paid scout. So probably this slide will not matter. If your blue is your favorite and you do not have any paid gems, then you cannot scout for him. So that is a thing for you guys to consider. Again, if you are a free-to-play player and are considering if it's worth it to spend money on this game, as someone who has spent money on this game since day one, I do not recommend it. But if you're enjoying playing this game for the longest time and you're considering, okay, finally I'm gonna spend money on this game, then who am I to stop you? And with that said, guys, that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit the like button for me as it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to help me out even further, you can visit my coffee.com or coffee-com ko-fi.com/SPLgum and help me with my upcoming animal flow education coming out on October. And with that, if you wanna, you can join the members by clicking on the join button down below. I would like to give a huge shout out to all you guys who are here on this page. Thank you guys so very much for your support. And until then, that is the end of this video. I will see you with the last two sync pairs, Guzma and Plumeria, soon. Until then, rawr!